arrived on we arrived 65 million years ago to meet the therlzlnosas. The therlzlnosaurus was a dinosaur from the Cretaceous period, 65 million years ago. It had large claws, who made it one of the most famous. And also, it was also seen in the movie Jurassic World Dominion. It was seen in the movie. The therlzlnosaurus is a large herbivore who lived in Asia. It commonly coexists alongside Tarbosaurus and other large dinosaurs. Therlzlnosaurus commonly looks a lot like a bird, having large feathers across his body. Well, there's not full evidence for feathers, and surprisingly for Therlzlnosaurus. See, the the only Therlzlnosaurus discovered of feathers was Bapiosaurus or something, who had evidence of feathers. But that Therlzlnosaurus wasn't a part of the family. It wasn't a direct part of the family who could Therlzlnosaurus. So we're not fully sure if this guy did have feathers. But then an arrow. What happened to the pharaoh? We eventually head back. We eventually see us. Eventually, the Therlzlnosaurus wakes up in a weird world. It kind of matches his habitat, but it just feels different. But then something is dropped into the enclosure as well. Something drops down into the enclosure. A Succo, a large spinosaur who's famous, who's not really that famous, but many people still know it. Spinosaurus, Suchomimus, part of the Spinosaur family, who includes Baryonyx, the famous Spinosaurus, Irritator, Simosaurus, and Suchomimus. The Suchomimus is hungry. Haven't have a while without food. And seeing there's nothing else in this weird area, who's quite unusual, he sees a Therlzlnosaurus. He strikes. He knocks the Therlzlnosaurus with a surprise attack. But then quickly the Therlzlnosaurus gets up. Quickly the Therlzlnosaurus gets up and uses big claws to the Suchomimus gets a scratch on his face, but he ain't done yet. You still got a lot to do. He quickly bites the Therlzlnosaurus neck. The Therlzlnosaurus, the creature uses claws and then The Suchomimus backs down. The therlzlnosaurus gets up. Both of them stand each other. Both being about being the same size. The Suchomimus quickly bites the arm of the pharaoh. Soon eventually the Suchomimus tries to get back. The therlzlnosaurus gets up and then the Suchomimus tries to get up. The therlzlnosaurus quickly the therlzlnosaurus is one. The Suchomimus sister lifeless. The therlzlnosaurus is the winner.